An African woman who had never attended school becomes classmates with her own son in China. What's the story? A viral photo has taken the internet by storm, sparking thousands of conversations. A black mother sitting attentively in a kindergarten classroom beside her young son. But the story behind this photo is even more astonishing and deeply moving. How did a young woman from a poor rural village in Angola find herself in China? What's the story behind her 29-year age gap marriage? And why did she choose to return to school at an age when no one expected it? Let's uncover this extraordinary journey right now. Her name is Minh Gá, born in Angola, Africa, in the early 2000s. At that time, her future husband, Cheng Xiaojian, was working in her homeland. Their paths crossed in an unexpected twist of fate, leading to a love story that would change both of their lives. At just 17 years old, Minh Gá married Cheng Xiaojian, a man 29 years her senior. Shortly after their wedding, she moved to China with their newborn son, stepping into an unfamiliar world filled with challenges and opportunities. Determined to integrate into her new life, Minh Gá, who had never set foot in a classroom before, enrolled in kindergarten alongside her son to learn Chinese from the very basics, the alphabet and fundamental Chinese characters. In China, Minh Gá found stability and was embraced by the love and support of her husband and his family. For the first time in her life, she also had the chance to receive an education, an opportunity she deeply cherished. Grateful for her new life, Minh Gá shared her joy with a radiant smile. Since coming to China, I've gained weight and even grown a few centimeters taller. Every day here is a happy day. How did this couple, so vastly different in nationality, background, and culture, end up together? What led Minh Gá to follow Cheng Xiaojian to China? Cheng Xiaojian, a blue-collar worker from the city of Suzhou in Henan Province, China, had once been married and had a son. However, due to deep-seated differences, his marriage gradually fell apart. After years of separation, he and his first wife ultimately divorced. In 2013, seeking better financial opportunities, Cheng Xiaojian traveled to Angola, Africa, for work. Upon arrival, he was immediately struck by the extreme poverty and underdevelopment of the region. With its scorching climate, rampant mosquitoes, and widespread food and clean water shortages, life in Angola was unforgiving. On top of that, the looming threat of disease outbreaks made survival even more precarious. Enduring these harsh conditions, Cheng Xiaojian contracted malaria and nearly lost his life. But driven by his determination to earn a living, he fought through the illness and stayed. Through a connection from a fellow Chinese worker, he landed a job in the timber industry and gradually built a stable livelihood. During his time working in logging, he and his colleagues needed local guides to help navigate the dense forests. By chance, he hired Minh Gá's father and uncle. Grateful for the opportunity, both men worked diligently, while also treating Cheng Xiaojian with immense kindness. Their hospitality extended beyond the workplace, as they frequently welcomed him into their home, embracing him as family. Alone in a foreign land, Cheng Xiaojian felt an overwhelming sense of isolation. So, whenever Minh Gá's father invited him over, he gladly accepted. Over time, his visits became more frequent, and a sense of familiarity grew between him and Minh Gá. In African families, it's common to have many children. Minh Gá, the second of 9 siblings, grew up in extreme poverty. Like most girls in her village, at 17 years old, she had never set foot in a classroom. Yet, she had a heart full of kindness and purity. To her, Cheng Xiaojian wasn't just a frequent visitor. He was a benefactor. He had provided her father with a job, ensuring their family had food on the table and no longer had to fear hunger. Whenever he came over, she always prepared the best meals she could offer. Her intelligence, diligence, and warm hospitality gave Cheng Xiaojian, a man who had been away from home for years, a sense of comfort he hadn't felt in a long time. And as time passed, her beauty and kindness stirred something deep within him. One day, when Minh Gá's father invited him over again, Cheng Xiaojian gathered his courage and confessed his feelings for her. To his surprise, her father welcomed the idea with open arms. Given their difficult circumstances, Minh Gá's only foreseeable future was to marry into another impoverished family, bear many children like her mother had, and live a life of endless hardship. As a father, how could he not wish for a better future for his daughter? Besides, he had already noticed the way Minh Gá looked at Cheng Xiaojian, with admiration in her eyes. So, when Cheng Xiaojian finally voiced his love for her, her father was overjoyed. Despite their 29-year age difference, Cheng Xiaojian's kind heart and steady nature made Minh Gá feel safe. After spending time together and truly getting to know him, she agreed to become his wife. With Cheng Xiaojian's presence, life for Minh Gá's family changed dramatically. Using his savings, he bought new clothes for everyone in the household. He even rebuilt their home, transforming it into a bright, spacious steel house, complete with new furniture and modern appliances. For his wife, he was endlessly devoted. Whenever he went out, he would bring back delicious treats and thoughtful little gifts just to see her smile. Even the cosmetics and fashionable clothes that Chinese women adored, he found ways to get them for Minh Gá, wanting her to have the very best. Even Minh Gá's mother, who had initially opposed the marriage, eventually became her son-in-law's biggest supporter. With a laugh, she would often tell the neighbors, "My daughter has truly fallen into a pot of honey." In 2019, Minh Gá gave birth to a baby boy. When Cheng Xiaojian's parents back in China heard the news, they were overjoyed and longed to meet their mixed-race grandson. Cheng Xiaojian knew that his parents were aging, and after years of living abroad, he realized that staying in Angola was not a sustainable future. After much thought, he made a life-changing decision. He quit his job and prepared to move his family back to China for good. And so, Minh Gá bid farewell to her parents and homeland, following her husband onto a plane bound for China. For the first time in her life, she experienced the thrill of air travel and the speed of high-speed rail. Her world had just expanded in ways she had never imagined. As Minh Gá stepped into her new world, she was met with towering skyscrapers standing side by side, wide and spotless streets, and countless faces that looked nothing like her own. Everything felt unfamiliar, both exciting and overwhelming at the same time. When she and her son arrived in Xiaozuo, Henan, the hometown of Cheng Xiaojian, his parents were overjoyed. Their smiles stretched from ear to ear the moment they saw their daughter-in-law and grandson for the first time. Although her in-laws were warm and welcoming, and life in rural China was far better than in her native Angola, the unfamiliar surroundings made Minh Gá uneasy. The villagers were naturally curious about the African daughter-in-law of the Qing family. Whenever she walked down the street, people couldn't help but steal an extra glance. Those lingering stares made her uncomfortable. For a long time, she chose to stay inside, feeling too self-conscious to step out. But if she wasn't going outside, she thought, she might as well keep herself busy at home. She threw herself into housework, keeping everything spotless and organized. She was also a quick learner. Under her mother-in-law's guidance, she began mastering traditional Chinese cooking. She kneaded dough, rolled noodles, steamed buns, and even baked pastries, each dish not only beautifully made, but also delicious. Her mother-in-law couldn't stop praising her. Encouraged by these kind words, Minh Gá grew more confident, slowly regaining the cheerful and lively spirit she once had. With her mother-in-law's support, she started stepping outside and interacting with the villagers. Little by little, she began to feel their warmth. Her Chinese improved day by day, and soon, she could communicate effortlessly. Since her in-laws were elderly and had difficulty getting around, and Cheng Xiaojian worked far from home, Minh Gá took on the farm work. Whenever she struggled with a task, the neighboring women patiently guided her. And on days when there was too much work to handle alone, the village men would step in to help. Their kindness deeply touched her. So, whenever someone in the village needed a hand, she eagerly rushed over to help. Over time, she didn't just adjust to life in China, she became part of it. She even formed a close-knit group of friends. These women would take her on strolls through the village, accompany her to the market, and invite her to play mahjong. Not long after, the Cheng family received more joyful news. Minh Gá was expecting their second child. After she gave birth, her mother-in-law, following Chinese tradition, insisted that she rest completely, forbidding her from doing any strenuous work. She prepared nourishing meals to help Minh Gá recover. The village women also visited regularly, bringing fruit, snacks, and cheerful conversation. Cheng Xiaojian, meanwhile, became even more attentive than before. Even before the baby arrived, he had already taken leave from work to care for his wife. After the birth, he took on every responsibility, changing diapers, preparing bottles, and doting on their newborn son. Once Minh Gá completed her postpartum recovery, Cheng Xiaojian had a special surprise for her. He took her to the town to finally have their wedding photos taken. Dressed in a stunning white gown, her face delicately made up, Minh Gá could hardly believe that the radiant woman staring back at her in the mirror was herself. At that moment, surrounded by the love of her husband and the care of her new family, she truly felt the sweetness of marriage. In Angola, polygamy was still common, and women held a low status. Not only were they expected to bear many children, but even during pregnancy and after childbirth, they had to continue working without rest, never receiving any special care. Minh Gá had seen it all firsthand. She had watched her mother labor tirelessly, enduring hardship without ever being truly respected. Never in her wildest dreams did she imagine that in China she would be cherished, cared for, and treated with such tenderness after giving birth. She had found not just a home, but a love and security she never thought possible. Every moment in China made Minh Gá feel incredibly fortunate to have found a new life filled with opportunities. Time passed quickly, and before she knew it, her eldest son was old enough for kindergarten. In September 2021, Cheng Xiaojian enrolled their son in a village preschool. Every day Minh Gá personally took him to and from school. Back in Angola, due to a lack of educational opportunities and her family's poverty, neither she nor her siblings had ever attended school, not even for a single day. To her, school was a sacred and mysterious place. Curious and fascinated, she found herself lingering at the classroom door each morning, quietly listening to the teacher's lessons before heading home. The kindergarten curriculum was simple, and the teachers explained things in a way that was easy to understand. The more she listened, the more captivated she became. However, it wasn't long before the principal noticed her standing outside. After learning about her background, he was deeply moved by her eagerness to learn. With a warm smile, he extended an offer she never expected. "Come join your son in class. You are more than welcome here." Minh Gá couldn't believe her ears. She was already in her 20s. Was it really possible for her to sit in a classroom and learn? But to her surprise, the principal was serious. Not only that, but to ease her family's financial burden, the school even waived tuition fees for both mother and son. And just like that, Minh Gá officially became a kindergarten student. She treasured this rare opportunity more than anything. During lessons, she diligently followed along with the teacher, reading aloud and learning to recognize Chinese characters. During recess, she played with the children, joining them in games and laughter. On that small school playground, Minh Gá ran and played alongside her young classmates, experiencing the pure joy of learning, just like a child discovering school for the first time. She and her son became true classmates. They went to school together, walked home together, and even reminded each other to complete their homework. Thankfully, Cheng Xiaojian and his parents wholeheartedly supported her education. To Cheng Xiaojian, his wife was still young, and if she wanted to build a future in China, she needed to learn the language, gain knowledge, and integrate into society. With this in mind, he wasn't just supportive, he was firm about her studies. Every evening after school, he personally tutored her, helping her with homework and reviewing lessons. In their small countryside home, his mother played with their younger child, while Cheng Xiaojian sat with his wife and eldest son, teaching them to read and write. Their home was filled with warmth, harmony, and laughter. For Minh Gá, never having attended school had always been her greatest regret, but fate had given her a second chance. Years ago, when she was just 17 and decided to marry Cheng Xiaojian, a foreign man from a completely different world, she must have felt nervous and uncertain about her future, but she was fortunate. She had a husband who loved and supported her unconditionally. She had in-laws who treated her like their own daughter, and most importantly, she had the determination to embrace life with a positive attitude, striving to make the best of every day. Even now, Minh Gá remains committed to her studies. She hopes that one day she can become someone who truly contributes to society. She also dreams of bringing Chinese knowledge and culture back to her family in Angola, sharing the wisdom she has gained with her homeland. From a young African girl who had never set foot in a classroom to a woman who found love, opportunity, and a new beginning in China, Minh Gá's journey is not just a love story. It is a testament to perseverance, the pursuit of knowledge, and the power of embracing a new culture with an open heart. Which part of Minh Gá's journey touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss more incredible and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.